Thank you, Eric. And now, while the war in the Middle East is continuing to rage on, many might not know the history behind these tensions between Israel and Palestine, Hamas. Joining us now, San Diego State professor Farid Abdel-Nour, the current chair of the Political Science Department, an expert on Israeli-Palestinian relations. Thank you so much for returning. I know we had a conversation last week, but there's so much to talk about here.
Thank you.
And so let's just start off with this. Of course, since we last saw you here last week, President Biden pledging full U.S. support to Israel. How are the U.S. and Israel connected?
It's a long-standing relationship. It goes back to the 1940s, but this relationship really was cemented as a military alliance after the 1967 war. In 1967, when Israel attacked Egypt, Syria, and Jordan, and was able within 6 days to more than double its size by occupying the West Bank, the Gaza Strip, East Jerusalem, the Sinai Peninsula, and the Golan Heights, it revealed that it was a major regional power. And the alliance that existed with the United States became cemented because Israel demonstrated how strong it was and that it could be a really important geopolitical asset for the United States. So the relationship is a military relationship. That's one important segment of it. And the United States supports Israel militarily to the tune of about $3 billion a year in military aid, and has been for a long time. There's another aspect to the relationship, which is the diplomatic relationship. The United States has, for decades now, also worked very hard to protect Israel from criticism in the United Nations and any international bodies. You know, in the UN Security Council, the United States has veto power and has consistently exercised it, including last week, to make sure that Israel does not get criticized by the United Nations.
That leads into this next question here. The United Nations Secretary General calling Israel's bombardment a collective punishment of the Palestinian people. Israel responding to the October 7th attack by Hamas. The tactics that we're seeing, obviously a lot of lives are being lost. Is that type of bombardment unprecedented, or have we seen this before?
We've seen this before in terms of bombardment. So in the last 15 years, from 2008 until now, this is the 5th war on Gaza. So Gaza has been bombed from the air now for the 5th time. So on the one hand, it's not unprecedented because we've seen this before. It's on average every 3 years. Okay. But what is unprecedented is the scale. So the most severe conflagration, if you will, was in 2014, which took about 52 days, and in total, about 2,400 Palestinians were killed during the 52 days. As you just reported, we're in less than 3 weeks, and we're already at about 6,000. So the scale is unprecedented.
Okay. The number of deaths here, we've seen reports, among them 2,000 children. What might have led to all of this? Obviously, there are so many families living there. These are neighborhoods that are crumbling. Obviously, what Hamas did to Israel involved so many innocent lives, and that's unfortunately the effect of war, right? Can you just kind of explain to us why we are where we are seeing these horrible images?
I mean, just to get a sense of the demography, about half of the population of the Gaza Strip are children. So, and when you look at the number of casualties and the number of children among the casualties, it's pretty close to the demographic breakdown, which indicates that the bombing is probably indiscriminate. Whatever targeting is taking place is probably just indiscriminately hitting whoever is there. So that's why we have such a high death toll of children in this case.
Israel's been ramping up the aerial strikes, now gearing up for the ground attack to stop Hamas. Have they done these tactics before? We mentioned the bombardment.
Yes, all of this has been done before, but never at this scale.
I see.
So, just to give you a sense of the disparity in number of casualties, so over the last 15 years, for every Israeli who has been killed by Palestinians, 20 Palestinians have been killed by Israelis. So that has been the average ratio. This changed on October 7th because of the very large number of Israeli casualties. And I guess I would worry that we might be heading towards re-establishing the old ratio. The United States has still not accepted to call for a ceasefire. The UN Secretary General has called for a ceasefire, but the United States has rejected that and is continuing to block that in the United Nations.
Obviously, that attack October 7th is what led to all of this, and that was something that surprised the world. Any idea what Hamas's goal is, just knowing how they've behaved historically and what they've kind of stood for in the past?
Yeah. It's hard to tell. So if you're asking me what they claim was their goal, what they claim is their goal is they say that they want to stop Israeli impunity. As far as they claim that Israel has been getting away with doing whatever it wants and nobody stands in its way, and they want to stop that. They want to put an end to Israeli impunity. I think another goal that they have is also to remind the United States and Israel that the Palestinian cause and the situation of the Palestinian people can't just be circumvented, because before October 7th, United States policy for the Middle East did not really include anything of any significance for the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, like in resolving it. It was focused on building a relationship between Israel and Saudi Arabia and bypassing the Palestinians. So Hamas, part of, I think, what they were, probably their strategic goal, is to remind the United States and Israel that the Palestinian cause exists and has to be dealt with. At this point now, I'm speculating about what their goals are.
Of course, and obviously for you, the history of this region, it obviously goes very far back, and religion is a huge part of that. How big of a deal is that? How much does religion play in this?
It's yes and no.
Yeah.
So maybe so that we don't leave the viewers with a misunderstanding, it's important to remember this is not a religious conflict. Because if you look back at the relationship between Muslims, Christians, and Jews in that land for centuries, they have been peaceful coexistence, peaceful relationships for centuries. The conflict really begins in the late 1800s, like the beginnings of the conflict, late 1800s, as a European movement arises to establish a Jewish state in this multi-religious land, largely populated by Muslims and Christians, with a small Jewish minority at the time. So now, how does religion feature today in this conflict? It's a complicated question, but it's not the core of the conflict. And where religion features most urgently, I would say, is over the holy sites in the city of Jerusalem.
Okay. Farid, I apologize to interrupt. We are out of time here, but we do have part one of your interview also on our website, and we'll include this as well. Thank you for being here with us this morning.
Thank you.
All right, this continued conversation will go on. We'll be right back with a quick check of your headlines.